Chess lovers, Suren here, and in this video I want to share with you another exciting attacking game played by the 8th world chess champion Mikhail Tal. His opponent is Emirati chess International Master Saeed-Ahmed Saeed, and the game was played in 1985 at Taxco Interzonal. Taxco is a city in Mexico. In this game Tal had white pieces and he opened up with c4, to which Saeed-Ahmed responded with e6, knight c3, knight f6, d4, d5. With the transposition of moves, we reached queen's gambit, declined. Bishop g5, knight bd7, e3, c6, and c takes d5. Not the most popular move in here. Knight f3 is considered to be the most popular move, and nowadays this can be seen even at the highest level. But in our game after c6 we have c takes d5. E takes d5, white is getting a kingside pawn majority, and later we'll rely on that fact by going for a pawn push and organizing an attack. White castled kingside, knight f8. A standard knight maneuvered in this variation. Black is bringing his knight on g6 and at the same time is opening up the light squared bishop's diagonal. In here h3 is the main move, but Tal played a3. Knight g6, knight e5, knight g4, after which we see several exchanges. Bishop takes g4, rook e1, bishop goes back on d7 and f4. White has completed his development, has centralized his pieces, and now is going for an attack. Knight f8, f5, queen d6, queen f2, bringing the queen on a better attacking square, c5 and f6, g6. By pushing forward his f-pawn too far, White managed to weaken the dark squares, and now will rely on that fact. Queen h4. White queen is coming after black king. C takes d4, queen h6 with a direct mating threat. That's why black neutralized it, and only now we have e takes d4. Right now, as the threat is rook takes e6, removing the defender. That's why black covered the g7 square by playing queen f8. But of course Tal rejected the offer of exchange of queens and moved back his queen on h4, thus keeping it alive and maintaining nice attacking chances. Knight c7, queen g3. White is both attacking the knight and also is freeing the h-pawn's path. Rook a c8, after which we see the exchange of rooks on e8, and then the second rook is taking under control the e file. Bishop e6 and h4. There it goes. White will now try to weaken black's kingside further. Queen f8, queen f4 and h6. Now h5 can be made with g5. That's why Tal didn't hurry with his pawn push and first played bishop b1. White is starting to maneuver in order to force his opponent to make a mistake. Rook e3, b6, bishop d3, king g8, knight e2. This time White is looking for a more active square for his knight. Queen e5, freeing the f4 square for the knight. Bishop g4. Black is now threatening rook e8 in order to simplify the position. But anyways, Tal proceeded with his idea and played knight f4. Right now the threat is bishop takes g6, and actually this is also a provocative move, and White is inviting black to play rook e8, after which Tal went for an exchange sacrifice. Queen takes c7. Actually after knight f4, queen takes c7 is forced, right? Yes. By going for knight f4, White sacrificed the exchange, and then after rook takes e3, we have another destructive sacrifice. Knight takes g6. Look at this beauty, guys. By the way, bishop takes g6 is not as strong as knight takes g6 because of course black is not forced to accept the sacrifice. Black can simply play a move like king g8. In our game we have knight takes g6, which is forcing black to accept the sacrifice, as there was a royal fork, and bishop takes g6 with a direct mating threat. Right now of course black has an extra rook, but that's not playing an essential role. Queen g8, queen f4, hitting on h6 and on e3. By the way, queen f4 turns out to be an inaccuracy and is allowing black to equalize the game. Instead, f7 is the strongest continuation, which is allowing white to maintain the advantage. Of course, queen takes g6 is not good because That could allow white to go for a pawn promotion, and only after f7 white can play queen f4. If rook e6, then queen takes g4. But in our game we have queen f4, and the problem with this move is that this allows black to equalize the game by going for a very impressive combination. Although Saeed-Ahmed failed to find the right path and played rook e1 check. The combination is actually very complex, and it's okay that the International Master failed to find it. So it turns out that in here queen takes g6 is the best move. Now if queen takes e3, then you're losing. That's why after queen takes g6 white should play f7. But here black is announcing a check from b1, and after king h3 is sacrificing his rook, exposing white king, and then black is managing to equalize. If king takes g4, then king g7. If here, then here. This is equal. But black failed to find this line, and after queen f4 we have rook e1 check. King h2, queen f8, protecting the pawn on h6. Of course, this guy on g6 is untouchable because of this f7, and the f pawn is unstoppable. That's why after king h2 we have this passive looking queen f8. But anyways, f6 is on the board. Queen f6 followed by f8 is the threat. That's why black covered the f6 square by playing rook e6, also taking the bishop, but lost the bishop on g4. Right now white is an exchange down, but this pawn is a monster, and also as black king is vulnerable, all this gives white advantage. Rook f6, queen g3. By the way, instead of playing rook f6, if we move like queen d6 check in order to win this bishop, then I have to tell you that it's not a good idea because there is a back rank weakness. This queen c8 can allow white to win the game. In our game after queen takes g4 we have rook f6, queen g3, rook e6, and h5, strengthening the bishop on g6. Rook e7, queen g4, queen d8, king g1, moving away the king from this dangerous diagonal, preventing unpleasant checks. Queen f8, king f2, queen d8, g3. While black is waiting for the final blow, white is getting the maximum of the position and is finding the best squares for his pieces. Queen d8. Well, this was the last chance for black to give up the exchange and enter queen and pawn endgame, where despite being lost, black has a slight edge to save. As you know, queen and pawn endgames have a reputation of being very tricky, although I think that Tal could realize his advantage pretty confidently. But anyways, choosing this line is better than the one which we see in our game. In our game, queen d8 followed and queen f5. The threat is queen f6 check. Black neutralized the threat, but this time we have bishop h7, freeing the g6 square for the queen. With this move, of course, white is sacrificing the pawn on f7, but in return is winning the h-pawn. Rook g7, bishop f5, queen e7, king h3, queen g5. Already white wanted to play a move like queen f4 and then make use of his pawns. Black decided to offer the exchange of queens, but this is losing. This is losing on the spot. Not a good idea to go for the exchange of queens. I guess black panicked, offered the exchange of queens too early, and now his rook is trapped. King g7, king h4, king h6, and after a4 black resigned. Black resigned because soon he is going to find himself in Zugzwang position. For example, if a6 then b4, then b5 then a5, and black is in Zugzwang, black should give up his rook. Rook takes g6 is the only move, but this pawn endgame is hopeless for black. That's why here then king g5, yeah, the game is over. That's why after this subtle a4 move, black resigned. Another very impressive attacking game by Mikhail Tal, which I hope that you enjoyed greatly. In that, a chess puzzle for you where the task is to find mate in 4. It's black to move, and I will wait for your answer in the comment section. Thanks for watching. In the end, here are more suggestions for you. As usual, feel free to check them out as well. I will see you in my next video. Take care.